Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I've posted a video, but I wanted to go over a couple of new additions to the collection in terms of more unique pieces and things that I'm now gravitating towards. Recently, I've kind of gone full high accuracy quartz or quartz in general, and one of the watches that really appealed to me is this G-Shock. And this G-Shock is the MTG B2000. And I've always loved G-Shocks, but I guess I'm just more in tune with watches with bracelets or that kind of have the standard look. It's just more appealing for me. So this was a watch I grabbed 3 months ago, and it's been solid. What gravitated me towards this watch was it's a steel bracelet. It has more of a normal, quote unquote, looking vibe to it. It is something you can wear anywhere versus the larger G-Shocks that I've had in the past, the Mudmaster, the Frogman. Those are great watches, don't get me wrong. They're great to collect. I just couldn't get on with them day to day. So that being said, let's just go over this watch. I'm not going to do a full-on module and all the modes and whatnot because this watch has Bluetooth. So I'm lazy. This watch has Bluetooth. The app, while it's not the greatest, is easy to get on your phone and can set everything up. What I am going to do though is go through the steps of explaining everything and why I chose this watch. So MTG B2000. So this is the second generation. In my opinion, it looks a lot better than the rounder MTG B1000, the first gen, just because now it's got this 12-sided polygon bezel, if you will. It looks very cool. It's got a sapphire glass. On the dial itself, you've got your time zone over here. So this is where you can set it to another time zone. The AM, PM for that time zone, which is really, really good. Up here, you've got your AM, PM for your actual local time, which is represented by these big hands, or the larger dial, I should say. Then you've got your normal day stopwatch, timer, and alarm. And another thing that really appealed to me is that this is just a watch with regular features. As much as, again, I mentioned I've got the Frogman, the Mudmaster, the Mudman, the Rangeman. I never ended up using any of those features like compass or the thermometer or the barometer. They all have these features. How accurate are they? I guess it depends. For me, those were kind of useless features because I was never going to use them. So that's why this appealed to me more, in that these are actually features I'm going to use if I ever use them on a day-to-day. Another thing that appealed to me is symmetry, right? These are cool looking watches, and now they've got this button up here. Before, I believe there wasn't a button, and it kind of drives me wild. These are also very nice to push. So they're not guarded, but they are nice and easy to push. You've got your sync button down here. You've got a nice large crown that's going to pull this out. And one of the benefits of the B2000 is that they switched it from the stainless steel to CarbonCore guard, which, as you know, here we go, if we can get a look at that. This is the new way of G-Shocks, I believe. This is kind of like their carbon composite, which makes the watch that much stronger. It also makes it monocoque, meaning everything is loaded from one side, and it's kind of like filled in from the front. What it did to this watch is, this is a stainless steel head, CarbonCore kind of head base, if you will. Then you've got stainless steel, but you've got resin on the inside, so it kind of makes it light. So this entire watch only weighs 156 grams, which is crazy considering it's fully stainless steel. But the CarbonCore, good job, G-Shock. I think they made the watch significantly lighter, and I'll explain why I'm blown away by this when I do a comparison with one of my other G-Shocks. So from the side, it's got a very cool profile. The buttons are there, but what I love about this series is look at the capabilities on those lugs, right? They just drop straight down. Okay, so there's none of that flaring. You know, we've all had those metal G-Shock squares where the lug starts at here and this one's fixed and then this one moves. So if you've got a wrist that's kind of on the smaller side, this becomes painful because it's not wrapping around your wrist and you're gonna get that awkward gap. Whereas on this watch, the lug comes all the way down, even negative, if you will. So for me, this is comfortable. I've got a 7.5-inch wrist on my right side and 7.3 on the left. So this is very comfortable. Another cool thing is because it's got resin on the inside, the strap's pretty comfortable and it's not heavy. The clasp is really nice. It's milled out, pretty solid. It's got these 2 pads here that make it a little bit harder to scratch up the stainless steel. And I think these are just plastic. You don't get any half links with this bracelet, but what you do get is 4 positions micro adjust, which is great. I think you're definitely going to get the perfect fit on this. The light is pretty good. Stays on, and then it's got the fade out, which is good. You don't have large lume plots on this, okay? If you're looking for, you know, this is not a diver. Again, this is a nice watch. It is rated for 200 meters, but it's not ISO certified, which means you're not going to have some of the features a normal dive watch would have, which is a lume pip, a dive bezel, seconds hand that glows. Here, only the minute and hour hand glow. And they glow pretty well, and then you can see these tiny little indices around the dial that do that. It is really quick in its movements, and I will say that's probably one of the benefits of this newer generation is I believe the motors are just significantly faster. I've got an MRG G2000, which is probably a previous generation MRG, which is Casio's top of the line. And you can definitely see, you know, movement speed increase, if you will, amongst all the dials. So like, for example, if I move this and I go to stopwatch, just look at how fast everything moves. If I go to timer and I go to alarm, everything moves just super quick. And if I go back to my date, it is rapid fire. So the motors, whatever they're using in there, the tiny motors, the servos, definitely upgraded in the 2000 series. The dial itself is really cool. Again, this is a tough solar, so it does have solar power. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell on the dial what your battery life is. You have to connect to the app, and even then the app's just going to give you kind of a iPhone style battery you know, icon that tells you how much charge you have. I haven't had any problems with it, but I have read that these tend to stick around in the medium range instead of getting to the high range. So enough talking, let me put this on my wrist and just share with you guys kind of how it wears. I'll zoom out a little bit. So there it is. This is a 7.3-inch wrist, and you can tell it's nice. Here's a side profile shot. It is a little bit thick, but honestly, you know what? It wears really light and comfortable. And again, the CarbonCore aids in that. So here it is. Just do a wrist roll. And yeah, it's a great watch. It's a great pickup. And the beauty of these things is they have, you know, they'll last. I mean, this thing is going to take some beatings. It does have polished finishing on the links, and as I wear my watches, so they are going to get scratches, especially on this one. You can see where it kind of touches the table or touches anything metal, it's going to scratch up. But killer watch, great price. If you want more info on the modules, there are a ton of guys who do this way better than I do. Take a look at some of their videos, but I thought I'd just go over this as, you know, it is a great tool watch. It is a great watch for day-to-day. And that's why it's in my collection. So thanks for joining in, guys. Appreciate everyone's time. Give me a subscribe, give me a shout out in the comments. I appreciate everyone joining in, and until next time, cheers.